Hi, today I'm going to be starting a mini series on how to cook venison. A few of you may have seen my video how to butcher a deer at home, and also my how to butcher a deer at home part 2, where I've broken down 2 little muntjac deers into various cuts, purely because 9 times out of 10 when people have their deers processed, they just get their haunches back and their back straps, what we call the loin, and they get a load of other cuts, or it comes in mince or sausage. But I'm going to start cooking bits of the deer that normally would just get minced or diced. And the first few videos I'm going to do one on shanks of venison, which are one of my favourite cuts. I'm going to do one on this neck of venison, but the one I'm going to start with is the one you most probably get the most of, is this ground venison. And today I'm going to make a stalker's pie with this venison. I mean, you have a cottage pie with beef, a shepherd's pie with lamb, but this I'm going to call a stalker's pie, and it's going to be made with this lovely ground venison. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by actually making the main part of the pie using this beautiful ground venison, which I did. And there's a pound of venison there, and I've got 1 whole carrot chopped, 1 whole onion chopped, I've got a clove of garlic, I've got a little glass of red wine, and I've got some beef stock, some salt and pepper. And as you can see over there, I've got a cabbage, and inside the saucepan I've got some potatoes, because we're going to make the filling. We're going to make a fantastic English bubbling squeak on the top of it instead of just plain mash, and we're going to put some cheese on top. But first of all, we've got to make this filling. So in this cast iron pot here, which is my favourite dish at the moment, fantastic, it's like just the right size for a pheasant, a duck, anything like that, and I just love cooking in it. So all we're doing, we're going to add the onion and the carrots, and we're just going to sweat them down gently just to put a little bit of colour in. Let's bring that forward so you can see. That's how it's looking. Just took on a little bit of colour. So I'm going to add in my crushed garlic clove, and that'll just cook out there in that little bit of heat, because obviously we don't want that to burn, because it'll be bitter tasting. So I'm going to just put that back on the heat, give that a minute, and then I'm going to add my ground venison. Now I've decided to start at the very bottom. I've had a lot of questions, especially from the guys over the pond in Canada, but they've had their deer processed, and this is what comes back most of it. I mean, I don't know what the guys do over there. They get the haunch back, the back strap, and then they say they get it all in ground, or what you call ground hamburger. So I thought, instead of making sausages, let's start at the bottom and just make a great pie. And as I said, we'll move up, we'll do a dish with that neck, and obviously with those lovely shanks, which I love, and then we'll get on and do the haunch and some other bits and bobs. Anyhow, so I'm just getting that in there now, and I'm going to get a bit of colour on that. Right, as you can see in there, when the steam clears, I've just started to gently brown it. I haven't browned it too much. I'm going to crank in some pepper, then I'm going to put in some salt, then that glass of wine, venison red wine, match made in heaven, and then I'm going to just put in, to start with, just enough stock, beef stock, just to cover it. Now I'm going to put that back on the heat now, bring it up to a simmer, and I'm going to cook that initially for 30 minutes, and then we'll see after 30 minutes if we need to take it a little bit more, 45. So right, as you can see, that's just starting to come up to the boil. I'm going to add this ingredients, a bit of Worcestershire sauce, and good squeeze tomato ketchup. Get that in there, give it a mix. Like I said, now turn the heat down, simmer it. Right, I just want to show you where we are so far. That has been 30 minutes, and as you can see, that's thickening up nicely. becoming rich and intense. And you want quite a dry mix, because obviously we're not going to let this cool, we're going to put the potatoes on straight away. So if it's too loose, the sauce, you put your potatoes on, your bubble and squeak mash, which we're going to do. I'm going to actually add a bit of horseradish into the potatoes as well. That's my preference. I think it'll be a great addition, but you haven't got to do that. So obviously you want it thick enough for the potatoes to sit on. So that's the half-hour mark, so I'm just going to start getting my potatoes on. I think we all know how to make mash, but I've just got my water on. I'm going to bring that up to heat first, you know, so it cooks quicker. So I'm just going to halve my potatoes, and if they're a bit big, in quarters, get them in the pan. We'll start boiling them down, and about 15 minutes in, we'll start getting our cabbage on. Let me show you where we're up to so far. I've got my potatoes going, ready for the mashed potato part. I've got some boiling water coming on there for my cabbage. Let's have a look at this meat now. As you can see, it's getting nice and thick, nice and rich. Now what I'm going to do to that, because like I said I want it thick, put it back on. There's still a bit of liquid there. I'm just going to sprinkle some gravy granules. That will thicken it up and just add that little bit of richness. So we're just going to stir them in, and you can see straight away that's thickened up nice. Once that's all amalgamated, I mean, let's just give it a quick taste. Oh, that is stunning. So I'm going to put that back on, and just what little liquid's left in there, we'll just cook away. And I'll turn that off then, and I shall put that in my pie dish. But in the meantime, just going to get my cabbage, lovely Savoy cabbage, in half. What we do, half again, take out that core. It's so easy. I mean, the beauty of this, if you don't use up all that bubble and squeak, which is why I'm making it, you can reheat it. And I love bubble and squeak, especially fried off. So I quartered it again, because obviously we're going to mash this in with the potato. I'm going to add some horseradish, and it's going to be brilliant. You know, again, building up those flavours, and then with the top cheese we'll just take it over the edge. So that's that done. Water's up to the speed. Get it in there, just like that. Put it on. Check this meat. Look at that. You can tell that's done now because it can go down the middle. Look, there's no liquid. So I'm actually going to turn that off now. I'm happy with that meat, and I shall let that cool just a little bit. We'll get it in the pie dish. In the meantime, I'll just keep an eye on this. They're nearly ready to go. So we're just waiting for that cabbage. Right, there's my pie dish. That lovely mixture. Get it in there. Nice and dry, but obviously it's got enough moisture in it to cook, you know, in the oven. Just spoon that out. Where's my spoon actually? That tastes fantastic. That's done. I'm going to add a nice knob of butter to that and a little bit of milk. And what we'll do is we'll mash that up. Now I'd normally pass my mash through a ricer to get it fine, but I want it more rustic this time. So let that butter melt, get that all mixed in, we'll season it up, get the horseradish in, get that cabbage in, and we'll get that pie topped off. So there's my mash in with my cabbage. Now obviously this is not going to mash down, we're just mixing it through, and I like those big bits in it, and I tell you what, you'll be hard pushed to find a better combination than potatoes and cabbage. That will make a great topping for us to put our grated cheddar cheese on. I mean that. Right, I'm just going to get my horseradish, season this up and get it on top of that pie. So all in all, you know, that meat cooked for about 45 minutes, which is no time really. And you can make that up, you know, and leave it in the fridge and put mash on it the following day, you know. Or, you know, make the whole pie up and let it cool down and just warm it up the following day. That is brilliant. So I have preheated my oven to gas mark 6. If you look up there, somewhere up here, there's your conversions. Right, a couple of tablespoons of lovely horseradish in there. We'll give that a mix up, get it in. What a combo. And then season it. Plenty of pepper always in mash. I mean, if you wanted to be fancy, use white pepper, but you know, this is proper cooking. Get that mixed in. Oh yeah, I've got to give that a blast. Hot, I know, but let's have a go. Oh, that's rocky. Rock and roll. So what we're doing then, spoon it on the edges first. And this is meant to look rustic. You know, this ain't Michelin star, this is proper food for proper people. And it's simple. Yeah, we've used a few pans, but it's no big deal. Get that on. And as you can see, that £1.5 of potatoes, when you weigh it up, there ain't a lot left. Just enough to make a few bubble and squeak patties. So I'll smooth that out. Nicely like that with a spoon. Don't that look fantastic? So let's just get a bit of that on, dot it around, and we get it in the oven. Get it cooking, and if it's still not browned enough for us, we'll just put it under the grill 5 or 10 minutes till it's all nice bubbling caramelised. And that is how we've turned that humble pound of ground venison into a pie. Let's cook it off and let's have a go with it. Okay then, the moment of truth. This is what you get. That looks fantastic. Look at that. Smells absolutely amazing. Right, let's have a look. Doesn't that look stunning? You know, that pound of ground venison is turned into this. Just look at that. That is a fantastic looking plate of food. Now, I have got asbestos stomach, but I want a bit of that cheese, the leek, that lovely rich mince. That is a winner, and that's just part one. Next up, venison shanks braised in beer. Thanks for watching, and you know, give this a try, you guys. It took about 1.5 hours all told, and it is absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching.